Hello, this is John Starrett. In today's video, we're going to go over how you can utilize extended events to help you find your top offending queries for a workload. To get started here, we're going to go over and right-click on Sessions under Extended Events and select a new session. Now that we have started the wizard for creating a new extended event session, we're going to go ahead and call it Top Offenders. And we're going to go ahead and tell this extended event that we want it to go ahead and start immediately and on startup. And we're also going to watch live data as it's going to be captured on the screen for this demo. Next, we're going to go over to the Events section, and this is where we can start typing to filter out all the extended events that are included to filter down on what we would want to actually capture. So for example here, I'm going to go ahead and select RPC complete, and I'm also going to select SP statement completed. Next, we'll go over to the Configurations tab. Now on the Configurations tab, if you go ahead and highlight multiple extended events and you change properties, it'll go ahead and change this for the extended events that are highlighted in here. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I add query hash and query plan hash. Whenever I'm wanting to find top offenders, I want to make sure that I include my query hash, because this is going to be my unique identifier that I can then do aggregation on. So that way I can aggregate by the identifier for the top offending statements. If you wanted to, you can also add filters in here. For this video, we're going to go ahead and leave this clean, but in production, you most likely will want to add filters in here to limit the data that is captured. For storage, we're going to go ahead and pick the ring buffer. This is going to allow us to store these events in memory. And we're also going to go ahead and keep the defaults here for the advanced properties. So we're going to be using a single event loss. Now we can see we have our extended event that is enabled and started called Top Offenders. And now we're currently watching live data. I'm going to go ahead and kick off some workload, and then we're going to go ahead and show you how you can aggregate so that way you can find your top offenders based on that query hash. So you can see I stopped live watching for our extended event capture right after I had a workload run. This is going to be our output, which may look similar to Profiler if you were familiar with using Profiler from the past. What makes extended events very helpful for you is now we can go ahead and do some grouping and aggregation. So I'm going to go ahead and group by our query hash. Remember, the query hash is our unique identifier for our statements that are running. So as soon as I click OK, we're going to see that my workload, even though there were hundreds of queries that were ran, are really 3 different statements that were ran over and over again. Now I can go ahead and do my aggregation in here, so I can say that I want to know the whole sum of all my CPU time, the sum of all my writes, and the sum of my reads, and also the total duration here. Once we've set up our sums, or if you wanted to, you can also look at averages, or min or max, or count. We're going to go ahead and look at how we want to sort this data. So we're going to actually find our most time spent by selecting duration sum and by having it be ordered in descending order. So from here you can see that our statements were grouped by the identifier. We can see that we had 500 executions of each statement, and it's going to order by the total duration. So if you wanted to see the exact individual information, you can expand it out, and you can see your statement here, which in this case was an insert. So I hope you enjoyed this video. To recap, we were able to show you how to create an extended event using the SP statement complete and RPC complete, so that way you can capture a workload and then also group that workload by the query hash and apply aggregation so that way you can find your top offenders.